what I was trying to really figure out is like what truly separates the pros from like your average player that just plays ranked and stuff. And now I'm starting to get it, starting to click together now. That's something I've always wondered, like what separates, what's the big skill gap?
Have you ever wondered why pros are always one step ahead? Well, today I'm going to be breaking down game sense in the early game. I'll even be showing you guys some of my personal notes so you guys can get a pro's perspective. Let's waste no more time and get straight into it. That's mechanics. Now we can go into game sense. What are you, what's the most recent tournament you played?
So, like I said, I'm just getting back into it just for funsies. You know, I did like the little free skin thing.
Yeah.
I want to start moving into like cash cups, that kind of thing, though.
Okay, so I think number one in consistency in competitive in any game, ranked cup, like considering that somewhat competitive, you can go for a win in that.
Sure.
Is just number one thing, landing at the same spot every time. And I run this true through every game mode. If I'm playing duos with my little brother, I'm going to land at the same spot. I'm going to force him to land there. If I'm playing trios with my best friends, I'm going to land at the same spot. If I'm playing solos, ranked, unranked, zero builds, doesn't matter what you're playing. Reload obviously is their own maps, and that's not the same. But
yeah,
anytime, same spot. So we'll use Canyon as the example here because it's a pretty easy POI to break down and understand. As for picking your spot, look where the top pros land and you'll understand the top spots. So I'll mark them really easily if you don't understand. If you've never used Loot Lake, I feel like you probably have, or Fortnite.gg. Then
I've used it.
So you can quickly just turn chest funds on and be like, oh, this is a lot of chests. This is going to be a good spot. So you can land there if you want. Obviously, it depends on the tournament you're playing and how, your elo and what lobby you might be in. They might be in your game, so you might have to run into them. Let me say this, no matter who you run into, as long as you don't have like actual like 3-year-old mechanics, like toddler level mechanics, which I don't think you do, and you'll get to that point where you're way past that, you can beat anybody. Like I would say maybe Peterbot is kind of an exception because he's just smart and knows his things and is really, really good. But most any pro, don't feel like you should shy away from the big spots and land, some shambles like hill. Like don't land here just because no one lands here. You can beat a pro by just outsmarting them off spawn. Everyone starts with the same loadout. Me and Peterbot will drop in the same spot and he'll get minis and I'll get minis and he gets a pump and I get a pump. And it's like, if you can beat them to that pump, beat them before they get to the pump, you can win the fight just off of your loot advantage. And that's true with any spot. So bottom line is pick a spot that you're comfortable with, that calls to you. That's the way I do it. Like I personally don't like magic mosses. It just doesn't feel like a spot that I would enjoy playing at. Like I don't like the bushes, the trees. It's too much. Like it's not a bad spot. It's a great spot. Like anyone that lands there is going to be happy. It's going to be good loot, but I just don't like it. Like I just don't like Demon Dojo. It's good loot. Some people love it. People land there all the time. Yeah. Find a spot that you're passionate about. Again, don't be passionate about this hill. Like this is not a spot. Once you have that down, and once you're landing there consistently over and over and over again in every tournament, every ranked game, doesn't matter if you dial spawn 100 times in every single game mode you play. It's fine. You're getting reps. And that's the most important thing. Because especially in the off spawn, let's just use, again, Canyon as the example here. The way, if I was playing ranked and you're playing ranked and we drop in Canyon together unknowingly, I'm going to do something that no one's ever done before. Or I might do something that someone has done before and you can predict that and pre-fire and take advantage of it. And again, even though in this scenario, I don't know how good you are, but let's say I'm better than you, but you know this some certain strategy, or something to catch me off guard or to cut me off or mess up my timing, you can kill me. Like plain and simple, you could easily take me out. And that's just because you have 1,000 reps at a spot and I don't have 100. So you're just going to beat me off of that. So that is the advantage of that. Another great thing to do, like if you want to have a more equal playing ground, because places like Mass Meadows, there's teams that landed there all last season and players that landed there all last season, and you might be just wanting to go there, and that's fine. You can still learn that and be really good at it, but again, they have reps on you. Like they've got out thousands of hours, hundreds of hours, more time there, more people they fought there in different game modes and different scenarios, when they're 1 HP, when they're max loot, when they're bad loot, and they've won or lost all those. So they have, more of a thought out game plan of how to react to certain situations. So that's the negative to landing a spot that's been around. But the positive is there's new spots almost every season, like Oasis and Crime City. So I was even thinking when I land here in competitive, I land on this mountain, this big mountain range. But when the new season came out, I was considering landing Oasis because it would be a level 0. No one would know how anything works. And I was confident if I put in most time that I would beat anybody there because I would nerd it out and know every little thing about the spot. And I'd win off of just that, even if it was Booga landing on me or Peterbot. So if you're looking for a spot, and any of this area calls to you, I would say that's your best bet. Like If I'm
Okay.
coaching you and telling you where to go, I would land anywhere in this new biome just because you're at almost level 0. Like even if it's never landed there before, people only have what? Is it like 20 days in the season? So you're only 20 days behind, and that's nothing versus like 90 days or over 100 days, and that you can put a lot of playtime in those times. So
I see.
that's what I would do if I was picking a new spot. Pick what calls to you, because passion is everything. Like you want to be passionate about where you're landing. Again, you're probably not passionate about landing down here. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's for drop spot. And then yeah, just nerding it out and knowing all the small details, like writing it down, figuring it out. I wonder if I can show you let me show you like an old competitive Discord server for myself. This is my current one. Obviously, I don't want to go in that one because that has all my current strategies, but I've got all my logs here. Let me see if I can. Here we go. So chapter 5, we'll go to that one because that was the most recent. But all these are like chapter 4. This is all the way down to
Oh wow.
let's see when this is. This is back down to 2021. Before that, I think I was just doing it through DMs because I was unorganized and was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, chapter 5, here we are. So we'll go through. You'll see I have it labeled chapter 5, season 4, chapter 5, season 3, season 2, all the way down. I've even got like other spots, like other split jobs, just because we were trying to go to this spot. So I wanted to have as much knowledge as I could about this spot just in case I wanted to land there.
Everything.
Yeah, so we'll go into like the middle season here, chapter 5, season 3, when I was like probably almost peak knowledge of the spot I was landing at. I was landing at let's see, restored reels. My bad, I blanked at that. I was landing at restored reels, and the reason I was so good at that spot is because I had landed there the season before and the season after, and for 3 seasons straight, I was just only landing there in every game I played nonstop. So I knew everything there was to know. So again, loot route, you're filling it out. This is like at this point the most optimal route. Like we did so many different reps of our loot route. Again, this isn't necessarily needed for a solo tournament or a ranked reload cup, but when you get deeper in competitive, you want these things. Loot route for timing. You got your surge just to kind of show like not necessarily a guarantee catch-all surge plan. I forget exactly what I was trying to explain here, but I probably should have taken better notes so I could tell you now, but it was probably something related to like these are the zones where people will come into, and it's a deeper concept, but surge isn't going to be something that you're going to have to like, or that you're going to have fully mapped out. It's going to be varying every game. Like this, there could be literally 0 players in this orange biome here, none. So my surge route or my plan would be way off because no one would be there. So surge is that, but yeah, building callouts, all the way down to floor spawn callouts or like little micro callouts. So that way we had everything covered because it was just the way the spot was built back then. It was about like knowing these are little floor spawns. Like if I said there was a bench spawn, like that means he got the gun there. And then yeah, building callouts, like understanding these the way to label building callouts in my history and time playing is what rolls off the tongue like the best, what feels the best. I've done things where like I could show you in a bit, but like B building and C building and level A and level 2 and level 1, and then all it gets so confusing. Like it just keep it simple. North Hill, South Hill, Chico building was another competitive player in Europe that landed there, and when we just me and my teammate, we started watching the VODs, we started studying the team, and Chico landed at the building, so it just stuck. Like we just made that his building, Chico building. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be Cease building. All right, rift room, entryway, middle building. Very simple stuff. They're very default, basic comms. But having this down, even if you only play solos, like you don't care about any team mode, you just want to play ranked solo cups, ranked solos, and solo cash cups. You just solos. Even having these comms down will help you apply and like add that based off of where someone's landing to your brain. Will help you process it faster, and you can make a play off of that. So if I saw someone landing, I would say, oh, okay, he's landing diner. That diner has 2 chest spawns. You're attaching a name to the loot. Does that make sense?
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So we can talk about this POI, for example. Like I would name this building right here. I name this building, this building, this building. I'd say, okay, he landed like main. He landed fucking back building. He landed side building. Whatever I want to call it in the moment. And you can change the names as you go by, but attaching a name to it will help you process what they're doing and what they could be doing, what they could have for loot, what they could have for mats, positions they could take, where's their next step. All of that happens really fast, and you probably already do regardless, but you're just not attaching a name to it, so it maybe not be as consistent. So, and yeah, if you want to do floor spawns, like this was just the way this POI played out, so we had to do floor spawns because it just was the comms that we needed. Instead of saying like here, on the marker, there's a guy there. Like no, just comms, keep it simple, and then you can see here, this is my teammate Jack. I even used his comms, and this is something that I still do today. Like now in competitive, I'm using my teammates' comms because it's just easier. Like, hey Jack, they're landing on your statue, and I don't have to say Jack. I could just say, hey, they're landing on your statue, and he knows he's talking to me, right? Their statue. Or if he would say, hey, Cease, go loot my statue. There's a floor spawn there, right? I could process that and say, oh, okay, he's talking about a statue. There doesn't have to be an X. Hey, go loot X statue. It's a little bit too much. Just keep it simple if you have to. So great one. And you can see their basic tree spawn, south balcony. EMP room was a story. Like we literally got EMP'd in this room. So we just called the EMP room. It just stuck, right? That's a great way to label things based off of what happens to you. So you can just instantly call back. And yeah, going down as we're playing, we're talking about mats around the POI to try to understand so we can get a better idea of what we're doing. This right here really allows me to understand scenarios and understand the plays I can make off of them. So like, let's say we're contested by 8 teams, we kill them all, and I really need metal. Well, now I don't have to think about, well, where do I get metal? Maybe we go to the gas. Like I just know, oh, I need metal. There's 800 to the south right here. Oh, I need, more than 1,000. We need 1,000. Okay, we'll go here together, right? You know what I'm saying? So processing this stuff, labeling it and writing it down will help you process it way faster in the moment. You can literally just like think, if you know Canyon like the back of your hand, you're gonna be like, okay, we need 500 wood. Where do I get that the best? Okay, well, there's 500 wood here. Okay, I know that. There's also 500 wood here. And, let's say there's 500 wood here. And you've maybe labeled this as like, this is the best 500 wood. This is the second best. This is the third best. Based off your position, let's just say you're here. Could have gone to maybe these two. You'd probably go instantly to this one because that's just already in your head. You've already thought it out. You know it's right there and you just go get it. And then same thing, you see someone running to it. Oh, well, now this guy's going to have 500 wood. Let me get my ammo ready. Let me get ready to spray. Let me scenario base my actions here in the game. So all this planning is useless if you just write it down, but if you actually can apply it to your game, it'll be very, very helpful. Glove tech, we're just talking to each other, showing each other tunnel tech. This is just us talking about the distances the tunnels would take us. So again, if I'm planning a rotate and I want Jack to hit a certain tunnel and go a certain way, I would tell him like, hey man, hold left because I know it'll put us right here, which is out of the angles of any other team and no one can do anything to us and blah, 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 right? And that right there, it helps me process it in the moment so I don't have to think about it. I don't have to hesitate. I just know what it'll do. If I hold left and go this way, I'll be right there every time without fail. So we did it across the map so we could, have more knowledge. Let's say we're rotating over here and we just end up hitting this tunnel. We want to know where it takes us without having to think about it. And in a team environment, having you and your teammate on the same page is really, really important, obviously. So if you're hitting that tunnel and he doesn't know what this does, then, he might land like here, right where my cursor is, and you're trying to go here, right? So, it's very important. Same with geyser tech. We just hit the geyser and flew max distance. This is where it takes us. Boom, 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 boom. And then he did his own one. I think I told him this is obviously old, but geyser tech from his own one. So, and I'll also add like there's definitely benefit to doing this with your teammate because then when you want to do something like, hey, we want to hit this geyser, Jack, I need you to hit this geyser and go all the way north. Like he just knows where it takes him because he did it with me, or at least you were in a call with him and you studied it, made sure he read it and understood it. Because again, being on the same page is very important. Boombo, this is a radius of how far the boombo could see us or how far we could see. My bad. And then this is just clips of us killing people off spawn. But
there you go.
But this is chapter 5. I'll go back to like chapter 4 so you can kind of see the journey a bit. So you can see just how more scuffed it is. Here's me not putting screenshots. Here's me taking a picture of the flag radius so my teammate knew what the radius was. This is me VOD viewing a different team. Here's my teammate, what I wanted him to do in his channel. So he'd write down his notes. I'd write down my notes, give us a to-do. Zone theories, we would start to like plan our zones, what we wanted to do. And this is a really easy thing to do. Once you have a ton of reps at a spot, say you land Canyon for this entire next year, like you'll be able to see based off of all the games you played, every ranked tournament, every game you played, you'll know like this zone's probably going to pull this position. This one's going to pull here, or this zone I'm going to get zone on Canyon. This one I'm like, I got to do this play. So you can start to zone theory after a couple weeks or maybe even a week or two of playing a certain spot over and over again. You'll just know what to do and how you want to do it and the rotate you want to make. And then as soon as you mess up on it, you just tweak it a bit. Say, okay, instead of going left, I should have gone, here and out. Last time we came in and we went like this and it didn't work. So we need to go more left or more right. So that'll help you with that. And then, you can see just all these old notes. Yeah, all the way down to chapter 3. This is like drop maps for this, how he wanted to play. Day had his notes. duo improvement notes, all this stuff, right? This is something that you want to have set up. And I think you're in the thesis Discord, right?
I am, yeah.
Yeah. So you can go into the Discord here and go straight down to directory, which is in the welcome category, and scroll down here, click this. This is a template, which will basically create the same thing. So 1,200 people, 1,300 people have used it. Click the template. It'll open the app. There you go. And then you can name it like whatever you want. Team server, put your picture on it. You can delete these channels if you want, rename them. Of course, this is chapter of season 1, but then it just gives you a pretty good base layout of what you'd want, right? Cash bonds, reboots. Obviously, these things aren't in the game. Cash bonds aren't, but this will give you a layout, or you just create it yourself. I always just create it myself because I just know how to set it up fast.
Gotcha.
But yeah, any questions or thoughts?
No, I mean, yeah, what I was trying to really figure out is like what truly separates the pros from like your average player that just plays ranked and stuff. And now I'm starting to get it. It's more of just building that consistency, landing at the same spot, learning the POI deeper, like drop maps.
Yep.
It's starting to click together now. That's something I've always wondered, like what separates, what's the big skill gap? And it's just consistency.
Mechanics is obviously a huge skill gap. If you're going against Peterbot, like he doesn't have to even use his brain. He's gonna plug those, like, you know, the building has five chests. He's gonna plug those things in, but like at the end of the day, he honestly, like, Peterbot might not even be plugging those in. He might just be like, oh, there's a guy that's building, I got a pump, I'm gonna push him. Like, so, and again, I think in competitive yeah, because he's just so good. And a year from now, I think it will start to turn into that. And there's still gonna be value in learning the little things about the spot, because if it's Booga versus Peterbot at the spot, then once two titans of the game go head to head, they have to start pulling out the nerdy strats, right? They got to learn about all these little things I just showed you, you know, farming routes, loot routes, and all these little small details. Because that's how those guys are going to have to end up fighting and beating each other. They're going to beat them off of not just skill, because Booga and Peterbot, let's say in this scenario, are the exact same player. They're really, really good. And they go head to head and they're 50-50 matchup. They're going to have to nerd out on the small things, and that's what's going to separate them. That's it. Like, that's how you can really get ahead, is just knowing all the small details and everything I just showed you. It will help you a ton.
Awesome.